All right, so we're Brian and Steve. I'm Steve, he's Brian with Hammer Bullets, and we make pure copper CNC lathe turned projectiles. So from raw material of pure copper, we designed and developed our bullet called Hammer Bullets with our parabolic drag reduction technology patented design. And what that is a drive band bullet, but we made it in a way that's never been made before. Our drive bands are on a radius. Our design was in order to correct the problems that copper bullets have always had, which is too much pressure in tight bores and poor accuracy in loose bores. And by having our drive bands on a radius, we can cut our bullets bigger than caliber without creating too much pressure in tight bores, and they always shoot accurately in the loose bores.
Starts out as a rod form, 12-foot rods in various diameters, depends on bullet diameter, and tried to minimize the waste. Other than that, it's just programming, and the lathe does the cutting. And drilling a hollow point first, of course, and then profiling the bullet, cutting it off, picking it off with a subside. Subside finishes the boat tail.
Throws it on the conveyor, and out comes a bullet.
Process is
nothing
over.
To it. As simple as that. You know, depending on what bullet it is, they're roughly 20 seconds a piece from start to finish on a bullet. Bigger bullets take a little longer, littler ones a little less time.
And that's just the machining time. There's a lot of other stuff that has to happen after that, as far as cleaning and, of course, then the boxing and shipping and stuff like that.
Yep. But the actual machine
lathe
time from raw material to bullet is roughly 20-25 seconds.
So the start process would be for the profile tool, which is T5 on ours, comes and faces off the bar. That's the first process. And then it's going to suck back into the guide bushing, and the spot drill will come over. Spot drill is going to just spot the center of the bar. And then the drill is going to come over, whether it's a 1.5, 2.5, but that's in the program. Comes over, drills the hollow point, comes out, sucks back in, and then the profile process will start. Profile tool will come down, same one that faced it off, and it will cut the bullet as it is programmed. Then the subside, at the same time it finishes and pulls that part away, it's going to bring over the cutoff tool. And the subside will come up to the exact same RPMs and, of course, the same direction, clamp on, and the profile tool cuts it off. After that, sucks back, it comes over to basically another profile tool and finishes the boat tail. And what that is, it's a little bitty radius and then faces it off to the exact part length. That's the process. And then it comes over and drops it onto the conveyor belt and out into the box.
Yep. And then repeat.
So how many do you do at a time? What would be a run?
1,000 minimum.
1,000?
I try to do 1,000 minimum on some, but on our popular bullets, sometimes 2,000 and 3,000, 4,000.
Yeah. So as far as our production capacity, each machine, if we're running hard, can run about 3,000 bullets a day.
That would be a hard day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they cost $20 each?
Yeah.
Yeah. We wish. Ron's going to pay us $20 a piece.
That's the price for Ron. Ron, you're not supposed to say that to everybody. We've pretty well vowed in our business plan that we're going to automate as much as possible.
Versus employees.
Yeah, it's easier to rely on a robot than it is a heartbeat. So unfortunately, the stuff is expensive, but in the end,
it's just the initial cost, and
we have to do it.
Yep.
So we're looking at a bullet washing process now that will basically, we can put the bullets into the machine, and out the other side comes a dried product, oil free, inside the hollow point and everything. And so that's the next step, along with continuing to add machines to the lineup. Demand keeps getting higher, and so we just keep growing to meet demand.
And now recently, Weatherby started loading your bullets and some of their ammo?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. It not so much just the fact that we get to sell more bullets, but really it validates us as a young company. It validates all of our hard work. We're here. We made it. We're a real company now. I guess it's hard to put that into the right words, I think, but it's validation for us. Yeah. This is an example of one of our Hammer Hunter bullets. It's a big one. It's a big 375, 411 grain bullet. Grab the big one just because it's easier to kind of see what we've got going on here. The part that we've got our patent on is the bearing surface here, the drive band portion. That's the part that we call the PDR, the parabolic drag reduction. So we're not the first ones to make a drive band bullet. We're the first ones to make drive bands that are on a radius. So if you can see those radiuses, each drive band is rounded across the top, and then it actually is the groove in between, or the valley in between is also a radius.
Exact same radius.
Yep, exact same radius on each one, up, down, all the way across there. So what that does is that two things. It allows us to seat this bullet like you would with any conventional bullet. We can seat it anywhere on the bearing surface. So for the most part of the loader, you would just ignore these things and load your ammunition to the overall length that you want. But by doing the radius drive band, the outside diameter of that bullet, so the very widest part, the full caliber part of the bullet, is very finite in the amount of material that actually makes contact with the barrel. So by doing that, we can actually oversize our bullet so that it seals the loose bores, but still, and it still maintains accuracy in those loose rifles. That's always been a knock on copper bullets. But then in the tight bores, we don't have any excessive pressure. And that's what our design did. We solved the copper bullet issue.
This is an engraved bullet. What we've got going on is the radiuses are actually deeper than the bore and groove of the rifle barrel. And that allows the extra material when we cut these over diameter. It gives a place for the extra copper to flow down into to minimize pressure.
And you're not even getting the engraving touching the bottom of
That is correct. The Rothling does not engrave the bottom of the grooves.
Now, what about the front, the expanded nose? What are you trying to do there?
What we have going there is, of course, this is the shank of the bullet, I'm going to call it, or, the thing that's full caliber all the way. What happens up here on the nose is we want those petals to come off. We call them petals, but we want that nose to come off. And they usually come off in 3 to 4 pieces. And they do a lot of damage, internal damage on an animal, kind of like the shank. But the shank, we want that square front on it to transfer that energy 90 degrees or perpendicular to the shank of the bullet as it goes on through the animal. The big advantage is on a mushroomed bullet, the energy it rolls around the front. On a square front like this, the energy is transferred 90 degrees or perpendicular to the shank, and the wound channel is much bigger. So on the rounded, when the bullet actually goes through the animal, if it's rounded, the tissue of the animal flows around the bullet, around the round nose. On a square front, the tissue is actually probably displaced more perpendicular to so the wound channel is much bigger. The petals usually will follow the shank as it goes through, and usually, 4 to 5 inches, and on a small animal, they will exit. So they have a lot of energy that is transferred into the animal as well.